I mean, if you were going to run out to that can, right? You see so many people just go like this. Full sprint, head down, straight up the can. And every once in a blue moon, that's your best option. But more often than not, I'm slow. I'm really not. Yeah, look at the shot, right? If I'm looking this from back center, man, if that dude runs that route, I can see him all the way up until he hits the ground, right? And if I think you're gonna go, I'm gonna shoot the ground right there, and like when this is, I'm gonna kill you. But if he doesn't know, so my habit, I mean, aside from the last event, is I line up like this.
Cool kids down
no
here.
matter where I'm going. If I'm gonna sprint the corner, I land up cross-handed. I just never put the sprint start. Yeah, Nikki's big and he gets in my way. But if I start like this, they're so far away they can't see if my hand's on my gun or on the gear. So if my hand's on my gun, I'm just gonna stop here and I'm gonna have my gun up. But if I'm gonna sprint the corner, I'm in the same position and I just go. It's really, that is not gonna waste time because my arm's turning and I'm already in this direction. But that way they never know where I'm gonna take off. And it's just like a fun little trick.
So just like to trick him up. Because like I'll see like friends like Chad George, like when he runs, he always like gets in like the sprint spot. Like,
exactly, but no matter where he goes, he's in the sprint position, right? So it's really hard to tell, is he gonna go to 1, 2, or 3? With that, so you have the full sprint to the can. I'm gonna start the same way regardless. But typically because I'm slow, I'm gonna run straight out and try and blind this guy. So when I take off, I'm in this one lane. Now I'm safe 10 feet before the can. And I can go up and compete with other people. And that gives me the opportunity to have my gun up, to possibly shoot a guy going DX, and to look downfield. So whether I'm sprinting, running and gunning, no matter what it is, I'm looking downfield. Because if I look at the ground, man, all I'm going to find is pay pulse, you know?
Sometimes you have to watch your mirror.
Exactly. So when you guys were doing you guys played this for weekends, right? Yes. What was your breakout like? Do you guys have a game plan?
Yeah, we basically aggressive.
Aggressive. Okay, so what was your bread and butter game plan?
One game plan we had, some guy going to Seattle.
Okay.
It's a little different today though. We were using
that lane's not there.
But and then we were sending snake side heavy with my buddy Chris in the corner, throwing on the paint.
Okay, so your breakout, you said go.
Have you played this way out?
Yeah. One dude slid in here and he looked cross, and the lane was there at the time. So there's one. What these guys do?
Yeah, Dorito as
We usually had a laner that would then go to.
No, we had towers. You went to the tower? Okay. Teabag. Corner. And
Raza. I couldn't remember what it was.
so with that, okay, so that dude, what? Did he just sprint there?
Yeah, I wanted him to take that gamble, like I thought. Yeah, I wanted him to sprint to Seattle because I figured he can sprint there faster than the fat snake guy can fucking sprint all the way to the snake because they were sending him.
That is one of the only times that I would sprint to a bunker too, especially if I'm the only dude over there.
And then the Raza just completely just eliminates the dude from moving at all.
Anywhere.
Yeah, one of these locks.
His job, like,
You're a student.
Yeah.
you play in the tournament tomorrow?
He just shuts down the group.
Yeah, and then we would have our back center.
Yeah, like,
So with the can, like, he would then walk down the snake side so that Seattle could get out wide.
Good game plan. So now these dudes are crossed the whole game.
Yeah, these guys literally just, this guy looks this way and they
can't get out
communicate.
if he just sits on defense.
If he looked anywhere else, he has a chance to bump.
Perfect. Okay, so that lane's there. And what about these two dudes, the corner and the teabag?
Yeah.
Did they both sprint there at the same time?
I was boogieing to the teabag.
Yeah, he the corner shoots. You get out to the corner.
And he just runs and shoots. Okay, there's one risk in that. I'm glad it was working, but if you run into a really decent strike shooting team, I can shoot one lane and you both have to run through it. And that's really risky, especially when this is the side you're pushing, because if we lose that guy, now this back center's going over there and he's left by himself in the smallest bunker known to man. Which, I mean, it's a risk you can take. It's not always bad.
Yeah.
But did it ever happen? Did you ever lose that whole snake side? I mean, depends on who you play, I guess.
I think we ever really lost the snake side.
So, but the risk is there, right?
Yeah.
So with that risk, find out what's your alternative. Can one of them delay? And that's when you start walking down the field.
Like we'll delay and shoot the corner,
Yep.
and as soon as they get in,
You fill out.
Yeah.
Okay. Exactly, and I mean, another risk, back center of the corner is a long run, especially on the next ball style field. Not necessarily bad, again, I mean, all these options exist. But what I would do from there, if I know that we both have to get out there, I would go from the start box and I'd start walking the back line. And I'd go, okay, back center can't see me, who can shoot me? Okay, maybe this tower, because maybe he goes heads up and he shoots straight down the wire. I was like, so this blind spot's probably not that good. Keep walking. Ah, now we're talking. Back center can't see me. I can hide from the tower, and if I need to bail and let this guy go or make sure he lives, I can stop and shoot, make sure it's clear, then I can go. Now that guy only has the risk of shooting one guy. And if he kills him, or if that lane's full, you can bail here, and you can still help that snake guy live.
Is that on a delayed break?
On a delayed break,
I mean, then again, it does cut down. I mean, he has to run and get there, so him shooting
exactly
is less likely than him sitting in one spot.
You have 10 steps, he has 15 and then 10.
So it's like lesser of 2 evils.
Exactly. I mean, you always run a risk, but that is my go-to. As soon as I look at, okay, 2 of us have to run through a lane. Okay, I'm getting shot going there. I immediately walk the back line and find whatever blind spots I can. And that's why you always see dudes break out and they stop in the middle of nowhere. And you're like, oh, gotta go check it out now and figure out where he is. And it's impossible to call, right?
Yeah.
You can't be like, he's standing next to the god and then he's behind the pit. It's impossible, you know, you can't describe it.
He's in a blind spot.
Blind spots are fantastic. So that's my go-to. And that's when you start practicing them, is end up in these blind spots. So that was your bread and butter plan. What was your next one? What was your key to success?
More base
D1
breakout. Like
more what?
A more like base structure, D side presence, like 2 on snake, 2 on D,
okay.
and then the center guy filling in wherever someone got hit.
Iron Cross. That is what we ran all weekend long. The Iron Cross.
Sometimes run the Iron Cross and then break one to Dorito, or have him run the Broken Arrow into the...
It's really easy getting in the snake if you run to Raza and then just kind of hang out and then dip to the snake.
Definitely.
A basic line is basically like we have like, you know, the back line for going, and then kind of one person that's going to be going to somewhere, you know, a lot harder.
Okay.
And then we work off.
So the problem always arises, you can't make it outside. That's always the risk I always consider, is that someone's shooting the corners, you know, because you get to the tournament and everyone's always shooting the wide guys. So now you need a pocket play. Do you guys know what you do for a pocket play where everyone has to stay inside? Not really?
Shoot wide, have this guy shoot this way, have these guys shoot this way.
Exactly. So the communication comes in of the cross. So you have the Iron Cross here. But if I really want to make it wide and I can't, I'm going to change these guys. I'm going to have them play heads up. Because now they're on the go. They're trying to be the outside guys. They're not doing the Iron Cross now. And as long as they're heads up, they can both still see in front of them. They can both still slow down that side. But that's how you change the Iron Cross to an aggressive play where you're not risking anybody. Because that tower, pretty easy to make. That can, really easy to make. You go straight at it, heads up, now you're on the aggression side, and you didn't risk any bodies going wide. So they have nothing. Exactly. So that's our game plan. We want as many guns up as we can. We want it known that these dudes are playing heads up. Because if I'm counting on him to lock it down, I'm looking down the wire, the dude's going to come right in between us and get a 2-piece, right? So the focus of those dudes are always on opposite lanes, every single time. Did you guys run into any other problems while you were here?
Well, that's the other thing I was wanting to get in, or to talk about. Is like, okay, so we're solid up to like that breakout and getting in our first bunkers. Okay. And then like if something shit starts to pop off, like making those secondary, making a calculated secondary, not just, okay, I'm going to the Beast, and then I'm getting into Dorito 1, and then I'm going to D2, and then D3. Well, you know, different bumps, like using this fucking raceway in the 50 or something, you know, like just using different calculated moves.
So that's when you start getting into exactly what we just talked about. Let's go to the Dorito side.